Good evening and welcome to Laughing Monkey. Alex Mitchell. This is actually the first time we've done it in video. Last time we were one of my few rare phone interviews, which is awfully hard to do. Welcome back, man.
Thank you. Welcome to me.
Yeah, welcome to you, right? So this is cool. So you're actually calling in from you moved to New York, so you've had a lot going on. You've been doing some music, different stuff
Yeah,
changes to the band,
yeah,
and and
yeah,
and, and the move. Let's start there.
yeah. I mean, I'm in Brooklyn right now in Bushwick, which I really dig. Everything's changed since I split. 30 years ago, whatever. Um, I lived here for a short time, a long time ago in the '80s, but I'm really digging it. Going into record in about 45 minutes, and the move's been great. I mean, nowhere is like it used to be. New York isn't.
No.
LA isn't. Seattle. I don't care. Indiana. Nowhere is like it used to be. So you just got to dig what's going on. You know what I mean? It's a new world out there, no matter where you go. So, yeah. I mean, it's funny because I was talking to Sharky, our bass player, the other day, and I was like, you know what, man? I just thought of this, but it's so weird because all those guys are back there. We have a new guitar player and a full band in LA. I told him it took me moving out here to get the band back together because we hadn't done anything in like 2 years. And in a weird way, that's totally true. Um, as soon as I got out here, I like bought a notebook at the store. I was like, okay, you got to do this, start knocking them up, setting them up and knocking them down. So, yeah, excited about the band, new songs, and I'm doing
Yeah,
other
how's that going
things.
to work? Because they're in New York. So if you tour, they're gonna have to fly
Easy.
out, or are you gonna do it in
Those
the van?
guys, we have those guys are rehearsing every week, and they're. I've never seen those guys more excited. Like our core guys. We have another guitar player too, Jimmy Zolo, and he's a real like
Okay.
Aerosmith kind of dude, punk rock dude. I think he plays with TSOL once in a while. Those guys who haven't said shit for years about the band, all of a sudden they're calling me all the time and totally like um, revitalized. And they're like, "Will he hear us out?" They're going to fly me out there to rehearse in a few weeks. I mean, wherever we play, I just show up, and those guys got it together, man. I can trust them.
No, that's good. That's good. Well, I'm sure you moving out probably lit a fire because it feels like you could just replace and start a band closer. The distance could make
I
it a
don't
little
know
more
what it
strange.
was. I
I'm not
mean,
saying you would. I'm not saying you would. But if all of a sudden
yeah.
like the lead singer goes away, you're like might want to be a little more active because
To tell you the truth, what it really was before I split. This girl I know in Los Angeles, my friend Bochet. She's she said, you got to try this guy for your band. He's a rootsy, bluesy guitar player, plays great slide, dirty slide. And I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, I'd heard that to death in Los Angeles for years. Let me guess, he's got black hair and tattoos. Well, yeah, he does. And he does play dirty slide. And he's a cool guy. He's from Boston. And I met him before I split. And we worked on that song, Kathy, Don't You Leave LA. And he was just money right away. I was like, oh, okay, you're in. And then as soon as those guys played with them, they felt the same way. So now everybody's excited. This shit, man, if you're not excited about being in a band, like I'm excited the same way I was when I was 18. I just am. That's
yeah.
the way I am. Especially when it gets going good and I've got good guys behind me. So then that's the way it has to be because uh I would play music and make music even if nobody heard it. I'd go to the studio just so I could dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, that makes sense. A lot of musicians are like that. I mean, that's truly why you do it because you write songs. The bonus is
Yes.
other people liking it.
Lifers.
You know.
Lifers. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also exciting because so I heard some other songs you sent me, and you released a couple singles over the years, good stuff, but just singles. But then you sent me like I don't know, like three songs,
Yeah.
two more songs that are more in the wheelhouse I would expect. Let's talk about the one that I was a little surprised about.
Which one?
Which out of the three songs you sent me, which one do you think would be the most surprised?
Well, it's not a circus project, but the New York on Sunday.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm sorry, that means circus, but that actually is a very surprising to hear you do that. It's good. That was not a song
Yeah.
I was expecting you to cover.
No.
That
Well,
was
you
one
know
of
what,
my
man?
bingo
It's like
cards.
I was always. It's a song by. So everybody knows I'm in a thing called Showbiz Al's Love Machine. And I'm covering Frank Sinatra, Bobby Darin, and some soul songs like old Motown songs, things like that. anything I want to do, but it fits under that umbrella. But it wasn't just a thing where I was like all of a sudden wanted, let's do that. I've been digging Bobby Darin since I was a kid. In our house, in our Scottish household in Toronto, they played the Beatles, my parents, and they played Scottish fight songs, and they played Engelbert Humperdinck, Frank Sinatra, Tom Jones. I'm into all that stuff, so it's not a stretch for me to want to do that. And also, it's swing, it's jazz, so you've got to sing behind the beat in the pocket. And I've been singing to those things for years. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do it. But Bobby Darin's a real jazzy, good singer. Yeah.
So yeah, you sent me a song. It's really good. It totally.
Thank you.
So people are used to you singing one way. Yeah, it's totally just different. So I mean, I'm sure that show's gonna be awesome. You playing all those other covers now, totally different than what you normally do, which is good as a singer too. To do
I'm going to put a band together here in New York that plays that stuff. And so I'm Kathy. Don't you leave LA? Circus of Power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the other
and
one?
my friend,
the third one.
Thank you. The other one is Captain Zapped, my project with Billy, and that one's cool too. That's like a dreamy Roxy music kind of vibe.
It's very different.
Yeah. So he sent me that song, man. Out of the blue, and I was like knocked out by it. It's really lush, the instrumentation, and beautiful. And I was like, let me do something with this, and we'll put it under Captain Zapp. So I want to do all kinds of different music, man. I don't want to be stuck in on the Monsters of Rock cruise. You know what I mean?
Well, it's still a good gig to be on a boat and get paid to.
Yeah, if I can get that gig. No, these are all my loves, though. I mean, I'm lucky to be able to do these three different kinds of music. The circus song I love, and it's kind of like a punk rock ballad. It's like my friend said it sounds like you wrote a Paul Westerberg song, like a Replacements kind of song, which I was like, wow, I never thought about that, but yes. But I could see Social Distortion doing it, or, yeah. So excited about new stuff with Circus of Power, yeah. I think I have chocolate ice cream in my beard, I'm not sure.
It's not noticeable from here. So let me ask you this, though. So you have three projects. Obviously, Circus to do a little bit of touring with, and you're recording. Are you putting enough songs together? Are you going to be doing singles? Are you going to collect them all together and aim for an album at some point?
We're going to release a double album this summer before the shows. And what it's going to be is the album 4, which is a great record. If people haven't checked it out, it's cool as shit.
Yeah, it's good.
But it's going to be remastered.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be remastered. And then we're doing the second disc is like Ode to Billy Joe. I don't know if you ever heard us cover that. Magic Gator Machine, Magic Gator Boogie, all kinds of songs that we've kind of half released, just put them on Facebook or Instagram over the last couple of years. So it'll be 9 songs on that one. Kathy, Don't You Leave LA. All kinds of stuff. So excited about that too. And all kinds of new pictures. So it'll be a package of those 2 records, which is sort
cool.
of, it's, what's the word? It's, it's something to not, I can't think of the word, but it's something that's going to be not everyday kind of thing. And, it pushes us a little bit to make a big, cool package rather than release it separately. But you can do anything you want to do nowadays. You can do fucking release it all digitally, do this, do that. But I like vinyl, and it's going to be nice to have that record on vinyl.
Well, that's the real point. I mean, because it's, and also I think you, as an artist playing stuff now, you got 2 or 3 different generations, and the younger generation is cool with having just singles and singles.
Yeah,
I go crazy if I just get singles sent to me, because what I end up doing is just making. I go on an Apple, iTunes, I'll just catalog them and make it one album. You know what I mean? Because I need to have my songs together. Singles skipping around with crazy artwork, and I'm like trying to find stuff. I want it together. I want a playlist so it works together. I want it thought out.
Yeah.
But, I'm 55, so I mean that's
in
my life.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still like adjusting to the new the digital age of the way things happen. I'm not a phone guy, not a computer guy. That's just, I want to stay away from that world, man, as much as I can. But there's such a wealth of information. I just hear things that I like. I'll hear things that I like musically that aren't that I'm not looking for, which is always great. Um, I was at a job a couple of years back, and that song "Espresso" by Sabrina Carpenter was playing, and I was like, "Who is this? This is the way she's bending these notes and all that." My friend told me, and I was like, "Huh." And then I actually think that's the best song that came out that year. Um, and then the other day, I don't know, she's called MIA. Is that what she's called, or Mia? Oh, it's a great song. I mean, it's important to listen to what the young people are doing, man, whether you like it or not. So I don't want to be on my phone all day trying to do that, because that's a toxic culture. But I do like being turned on to things that young people do. So Al, get on TikTok then.
Oh, that on TikTok. I try staying away from that too as much as I can. Having a show, I've got to be on some socials. You know what I mean? So I try to keep my socials full of like music and dog videos, dogs doing silly tricks. That's all I want. I don't want anything else. I don't want anything serious. I can't deal with it. So just music and animals. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, actually, there are great YouTube videos on animals. YouTube, I watch a lot, because they're capturing animals doing things that, now that everybody's got a camera, no one knew how sociable goats are, or what
exactly. That's the kind of stuff I watch.
Yeah, things like that, and it's so that I love. I mean, there's no turning it back, and now with AI, which is even closer. Driving us closer to the apocalypse. I like to be aware of all that stuff and not just shut myself out of it,
Right. I mean, definitely AI has its limits. I'm not a fan of it replacing any of the artwork.
The whole thing, me, man. Yeah. Like if there's certain parts of it that are good, then it's good. But the thing is, it's going to already is taking tons of human jobs. I mean, that started in the 70s and 80s at auto plants and things like that, when robots started making cars. And now it's even worse. And now I have to figure out what everyone's going to have to do. But anyways,
some of it's automated, and I think some of it, and I've heard some businesses are laying off people, blaming on AI, because a lot of the jobs are now, that places where I see, it's still to the ground stuff. I think the really good thing for a lot of companies we have AI. I don't know AI that does a lot of things still that can change a lot of the world for a lot of people still. I think some of it's baloney.
I don't like any of those people. I don't like Musk. I don't like Zuckerberg. I don't like Bezos.
Oh yeah,
I don't like
I think
anybody in the government. I think it's all scary and dystopian, and we're not headed. We're already in a bad situation because of all these motherfuckers. And back when I first started getting into music in the early '80s, Reagan came in and people were thinking, well, all these punk rock bands, now they're going to have a field day. It doesn't necessarily always reflect that way. It doesn't transfer from the newspaper or the online into the songs. So, but like I said, it's a fascinating time to be alive, and I'm glad to be making music.
So with the move, and you get the bands and everything else, you're also a writer. Are we going to keep up the writing? Now, I read your last book. Last year, but you probably I don't know when you released it. Great book. You're a great writer.
Thanks.
Just like your songs, very interesting, very intense.
Well, I can get a little dirtier on the books, and it's more casual. Hey, books are tough, man. Books are really hard to write, and I think probably because I know I get down a few good lines here or there for sure, but like I think. The next thing I put out, I want to be more cohesive, and I need to get somebody that's fierce to edit me and tell me, "Oh, this is great. This part sucks. Do more of this. Do more of that." It's a tough thing to do on your own. I mean, I look at guys like Dostoevsky and these guys. Were stuck in a Russian prison camp in Siberia and wrote a fucking book that's 1,000 pages long, man. Like on like. Paper and pen. And I was like, oh my God, these geniuses. So I do what I can, and I'm gonna keep writing. Yeah.
So there's a chance you can write another book. You get more stories than you.
Oh yeah, I'm working on stuff now. It's just a matter of getting to it.
Weren't you doing a comic before with music or something?
Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen with that. It's a good idea. Johnny Strange had. It's about a kid that's got a really small head and he's 8 foot tall in Florida. Think she's bullied, and
it's a true story, right?
For someone, yeah.
Okay, joking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things I haven't really spent enough time on, but like for right now, with these 3 musical projects, I'm going to be busy doing that and happily busy.
Cool. Cool. People should look for you where though to catch your stuff because like we'll go back to the album for a minute. So where can people expect to look for the album to be announced or released or for Circus at least? Let's start there. For Circus, the album, the album coming out, where do people look for that announcement where it's going to come out?
On our Facebook page and Instagram, um, yeah, um, it's going to come up probably about the end of July, I would say. We're getting because we're running tight here with time. We need to submit everything, and then we need to get the vinyl done, which takes about 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and so that'll be announced on the Circus page. I don't really use Instagram much, man. For some reason, I don't like it. I don't know why. I just stick to the Facebook thing, and so that Circus of Power Facebook page will tell you everything, or you can just friend me
Okay.
on Facebook. Yeah,
Well, I just want people to be able to look and be aware of when it comes out. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
it helps if people know it's out there.
yeah.
And people
Maybe I'll
listen
come
to it.
on for a maybe I'll come back on for a 15-minute thing when right before it release it.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're always welcome to come back and think we can do something special for it. But I definitely want you the people know to go where you have stuff going on. And in Facebook, you'll keep up with dates too for shows, right? Then, so people
Yeah,
probably your Facebook is a place to go for the circus
yeah, yeah,
shows.
yeah, yeah. And the shows are 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. 9th is the last show. It's in Brooklyn at Lucky 13 Saloon. The first show is at Kodo in Salem, Massachusetts. The second one is in Philly. Oh, I can't remember the place in Philly. Anyways, it's on the page. And then Connecticut. I think it's Cellar Door or something. Cellar something. The
Really?
Cellar
Yeah,
in
that's a
Connecticut.
place.
You know it?
Uh, I know I haven't been there yet, but I'm in Connecticut, so I might have to check that
Yeah, yeah,
out.
yeah,
Look at the date.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll
And
be some
then
time to check it out.
Indian Larry's is on, which is actually a big badass party. I don't know if you've ever been
I
to
heard
that.
it's
It's
pretty
great,
awesome.
man.
I haven't been.
Yeah,
I haven't been there, but I heard it's pretty awesome.
it's wild. It's wild. Just a couple thousand people. You know what happens when a bunch of guys and girls on motorcycles get together. Usually pretty good. Um, and they shut down the whole block. And those guys, Larry was a real artist, man. Incredible motorcycle craftsman.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know, he died not popping a wheelie, but he was like doing like standing on his seat on his bike
Yeah.
while it was rolling. That's when he died of a heart attack, though, not an accident. Can you imagine that? Like, yeah, that is the greatest fucking thing I ever heard.
I think that is actually the coolest way to die because you're not dying in a motorcycle accident. You're dying
Well,
naturally, but doing something you love.
dying what he loves to do, that's for sure. And yeah, but he was just like he was ahead of that whole reality show bike thing, all that fucking bullshit. He was just a down and dirty bike builder. And those bikes are fast and they're mean and they're good for the street. It's without getting into riding and all that. It's a good bike for the street, and it's kind of a no frills thing. It's got a lot of power, but they do make some that are all chromed out and are really beautiful. They'll still carry on the tradition of Indian Larry's shop in Brooklyn. So that show we're playing, that is September 19th. And that'll be great. I'll see a lot of old friends and which I've been doing, which is a real trip to see people in New York. I went to see Jesse Malin's play, Silver Manhattan. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I haven't heard it, but how's he doing?
Oh, it's great. Well, do you know his situation?
Yeah. That's what
Okay. Well, for those that don't know him, I've known Jesse, I've known him since '82, the hardcore scene in Lower East Side, and he came to some of our circus shows in LA. He was in Degeneration. I sort of like stayed watching what he's doing and everything. He bought some bars. He was one of the few of us that had it together and actually spent some money investing. He bought he bought the place on A7th. He bought Coney Island High and Ballroom Electric, I think. So interesting cat, And then he wrote some songs with Bruce Springsteen, I think about 5 or 6 years ago. And there's a song out that Bruce sings, Jesse wrote, that Paul Bearer from Sheer Terror is in. that's great. Paul is amazing at it. Paul's another great fucking guy. It's called She Don't Love Me, I think. Look it on YouTube. It's beautiful, this video. Um, so Jesse had a spinal stroke about 3 years ago, just sitting in a restaurant, got up and couldn't get back up. And so he's been battling that for the last couple of years, trying to get better, making some progress. And I got back in touch with him when I got back to New York here. And I told him like how great I thought it was to undertake such a huge project. And, very emotional too. So anyways, I just said, congratulations. They said, come on down and see it. And so I went down there last week and was really blown away. It's sort of a half a concert and half of him telling his life story from when he was a kid in Brooklyn or Queens, I can't remember, up until now. And it's got some really funny actors and actors in the play too, and the band is great, and it's emotional, man. It's for 3 more nights, I think, in Manhattan here. If anybody's listening, they should go down and see it. It's awesome. I mean, I was almost crying at the end of it. I told him, "You fucker, you made me cry." He stands up at the end of it with some assistance of a walker, and then he walks off stage, man. And everyone stands up in the audience, and it's like, whoa! It's just like I'm getting verklempt now. It's an emotional moment, and I'm pulling for that guy. So, that was like the most New Yorkish thing I've done since I got back, was to connect with him, go to that play, made me feel good, made him feel good that I went down there.
How's the scene there in New York compared to before?
There is none.
Well, that's what I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's no scene anywhere, but like I never really cared about scenes, man. I'm just like doing my thing. And
I mean, just like a bunch of bands playing out anymore. I don't even know.
Yeah. But the thing is when I think of a scene, I think of like 3 or 4 bars in every city, a couple of them good-sized bars where everybody hangs out every night, and where there's kids, whatever you want to call them, people in their 20s that go, and teenagers that go down and hang out either at a punk rock bar or a rock bar, or those as far as I know, those are kind of gone. In LA, there's a few of those places left, the Rainbow, and some places to play downtown too. So honestly, I don't know completely. Yeah, there's places to play in New York, but I don't know about hanging out where people hang out. Like there was Manitoba's bar, and there's another bar on the Lower East Side where people would go all the time. But like I said, for a long time now,
about hanging out. I just want to see a show and go on, meet some
friends.
Yeah.
But I do think
never cared about hanging out with people.
But I do think that the hangout thing is important to create a scene and a movement. So I do lament the fact that doesn't happen anymore, even though, because when I got Circus together, I hung out every fucking night. Couldn't keep me inside. And there was Lismar Lounge was sort of our home on First Avenue, and there was all kinds of little bars. There was CBGBs, and the Ritz was still the Ritz. There's just a lot of places to play right in the city, right in the neighborhood. And so I wouldn't be here right now talking to you if it wasn't for Little Lismar and Free Being Records that was on Second Avenue, and all these mom and pop places that were, for me, I would go hang out at Free Being. My friend Johnny worked there, Johnny Trash. And like the guy that owned the store would go to England every Friday night. I thought this was great. And this guy James is a friend of mine, and he was from New Jersey, and he was like playing in like an amateur football league. So he was like a tough guy, and he didn't look like the kind of guy that would own an independent music store at all. He was kind of a scary guy, but really nice guy. So, but you didn't want to steal from that place, or you would be in trouble. So he would go to England, to London every Friday night, come back on Sunday night, and bring back all the latest import records. So the latest Zodiac Mind Warp, the latest Cult, the latest Love and Rockets, the latest whatever was going on, And so I would hear them before anybody else did, and right there in the store. And I was like, I wanted to get back in a band, into a regular rock and roll band. And it's funny, but this is really how I got into Circus of Power. I'll tell you right now. I don't know if I've really talked about this much. My brain is somewhat fried. Anyways, I was at Danceteria, this great club on 19th Street, and they had like a hip
Yeah.
hop floor. That's where Madonna first played. Then they had the,
Yep.
it was a whole building, and each floor was a different. You have a hip hop floor. The third floor was rock and roll. That's where I met Raphael from the Cycle Sluts, and I'm standing there hanging out. This is like 1985 or 86, and they had just started playing videos on screens at clubs. That was new. And believe it or not, there was a time when that was a new thing.
Right.
And so I hear Sanctuary being played by the Cult. And I look up and Ian's on there. My friend kind of nudges me with his elbow. And he goes, "Hey, man, he kind of looks like you." I go, "He does a little bit." And that second, that was it. I told him, tomorrow I'm going to start a rock and roll band. And he goes, "Good, about fucking time." And that's how we got started. And then that, I think it was that night, in the summertime, Danceteria had hot dogs and beer on the roof, which is awesome, right? New York,
Right.
There's nothing more awesome than being on an old New York City rooftop in the middle of summer. And so I was obnoxious and younger and and just, pulled my thing out wherever I wanted to. Needed to take a leak, didn't feel like going to the bathroom downstairs. So there was a big tub, like a big 50-gallon drum of ice and beer, and I just looked around. No one was looking. I started peeing it into the ice bin, and I see this guy, this flashy thing beside me, like reflecting. And I look over, and you don't want to stare too much at a guy that's sitting next to you when you're peeing, but it was David Lee Roth with no shirt and these sequin pants, and he's looking at me and kind of laughing. We both kind of had that, didn't say anything, just laughed. So yeah, those was one of those New York moments a long time ago.
That is a new David Lee Roth New York moment. I've heard people say have shared David Lee Roth moments with me, like when he was a medic, and they've had stories of, or he showed up at parties for people. I've heard little through the years.
He's not, man. Like
that is one I've never heard. That is the most outrageous one I think I've heard so far.
So someone was telling me, I was asking him, I had talking to him later that night, and for a minute, and I go, "What are you doing?" There's a lot of girls around him and stuff, And he goes, "Well, I'm just about to go kayaking out on the East River." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Kayaking. I'm a kayaker." I go, "Right now it's fucking 4 a.m. and you're wasted." And he goes, "No, I'm going kayaking, bro. It was my buddy, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, I didn't even get it. Like, how could someone just do that? And then I was reading some interview with him a little while ago, and he was talking about how he used to go kayaking at 4 a.m. on the East River with all those crazy currents and shit. And I was like, good for you. Good on you.
Maybe they prepared him for the Amazon stuff he used to do too, right? Because he used to do Amazon, go to the Amazon too. So maybe that's how he got prepared.
Right. He's an interesting guy. He went over
to the Amazon.
He went over to Tokyo for a few years and just lived there and studied martial arts, which I think is also an admirable thing. Look, when I see that guy interviewed, dude, I can't even watch. He's like, he's crazy. Like it's just I can't follow that thread. It's like watching Steven Tyler talk too. I mean, I know that they're on all the time and that kind of thing, but like, I would much rather listen to their music than listen to them be interviewed, because it just drives me nuts. But both interesting guys. And Rocks by Aerosmith is one of my favorite records. My friend in Los Angeles, who's kind of a genius builder, fabricator, gets a call from David Lee Roth one day. I probably shouldn't tell it because people know, know who he is. But anyways, and my friend's funny as shit. He's a total pisser. #1 circus guy, always in the front row, and when in LA, big dude, used to bounce this place in at some place in Hollywood. So he like knows all the professional wrestlers from the 80s and stuff. He's got a million great stories, Randy Savage and Hulk and all those guys partying afterwards at the bar that he worked at. Anyways, so David Lee Roth's people call him up and go, "Listen, David would like to get a vocal booth built in his kitchen." And my friend's like, "Yeah, well, of course he would. That's what he would do, right?" So he goes, "Do you want to do it? We heard you're a great builder." He goes, "Well, I'll come over and I'll take a look." And my friend does the best David Lee Roth impression of all time. I wish he was here right now to do it, because he sits down in the kitchen, and these girls in like French maid outfits, doing flowers and stuff around the house, just like you'd think it like a Van Halen video is, And and Roth is like, I want to put the vocal booth right here by the fridge. I just walk out the fridge into the vocal booth. And my friend's like, okay, I mean, it's going to cost you $2. I mean, this is kind of crazy, but okay. and he goes, sit down. I'm going to show you. Your seat you're sitting in is the seat where we wrote Panama and some other song. My friend just goes on and on and tells us a great story about it. He's a crazy motherfucker, man. He's like, anyways.
Oh man, that's actually pretty good. Thanks for sharing that. That's really good. Well, this has really been fantastic. I know you've got to you're gonna be recording in a minute, so I don't want to tie you up too long.
I'm good.
Okay, cool. So with you being back, are you actually doing other stuff too? Because I know you were building, and you were actually building other stuff too, weren't you? You were working on other projects.
I never want to work again in my whole fucking life. I'm done with work. I'm gonna have to hustle somehow, but like I am too old and beat down, man, from all that stuff. I worked hard for years and years building background scenery, and the last video I did was worked on a Cardi B video, who is really funny and cool also, and I was kind of flirting with her. It was kind of funny, and she's politically feisty and everything. I really like her, and like her music too. But I can't do that stuff anymore. I don't want to do that stuff anymore. So I don't know what I'm going to do here to make money, but I'll figure something out. Right now, I'm house sitting out in Douglaston and making a few bucks at this crazy like fucking mansion. It's on like not exaggerating, the backyard is like half a football field. It's in a place called Douglaston. I don't know if you know it, that area. Beautiful, on the water, just gorgeous. All the houses look like they were in The Godfather. Remember the house in The Godfather with the stone wall?
Yeah.
And the wrought iron gates. They all look like that. Beautiful, rich neighborhood. And long story short is an ex-girlfriend who was married to a rock and roll drummer who just died recently. I can't drop all these names because it's not cool. But anyways, her mom lives out there, and I've been staying there, and it's been like awesome, giving me time to work on writing and writing songs. It's like I said, it's so gorgeous, this place, and just plot my little attack I'm making on New York, including being here in Brooklyn, doing the video with you, recording, and if I have to get a job, I will, but I'm trying not to.
I don't blame you. Well, the thing is, because you had such a great stories last time we talked, that's why I was asking you.
I don't make money doing music.
Well,
right?
No,
I don't care how hard it is or how unlikely it is or whatever. My Bobby Darin shit should be enough to make me a living. So we'll see what happens.
That is good. No, because last time you told me you were working at someone's house that had like every room was like this different theme.
Oh yeah,
you had some really good.
That guy was that guy. Yeah. Listen, there's nobody like that guy, dude. He
fun story.
Oh yeah. Well, he invented the Source 4 light bulb. What do you call it? Spotlight, back in like '92, I think. So he's a lighting guy, right? And kind of a genius. He made some motherboards and things like that before he did this spotlight that made him a ton of money. And then he made this spotlight. At the time, he took a percentage of the haul instead of taking a lump sum of money. Anyways, long story short, he made $60 million in like 2 years. And then he themed his entire house out. Like the garage is like the Batcave from the 60s Batman show, with stalactites coming down from the ceiling, the Bat computer, like everything else is like that stupid and that great and that outrageous. And there's like 19 rooms in that house, and everything is themed out. A Moroccan screening room, an English bar, like a classic English bar room.
Yeah.
Everything is themed out. I worked there. It was one of the most interesting jobs anyone can have, really. And the guy was like, there's 5 of us that worked there, and he was really well-read and crazy looking. He looked like Nosferatu, kind of like the original Nosferatu, like with the 2 years, shades head. And so he took that and went with it. He had these huge collars on these Victorian coats, and wore all these crazy clothes. Like you saw him at Trader Joe's, you'd go, "Who the fuck is that guy?" Like not normal, but cool. And so working there, it wasn't just all about skills. It was about you had to know who Bob Fosse was and Andy Warhol,
Yeah.
and and Dustin Hoffman, and you had to be well cultured as far as the arts go, and which I am kind of, and I'm into all that stuff, and I'm into I'm walking here from Midnight Cowboy and all that stuff, So I worked for that guy, and he was just like this completely insane person that had the weirdest lifestyle I've ever seen. Like he went to a lighting convention in Las Vegas. I remember one Friday he was leaving, and all of a sudden I see 10 girls all dressed up as cops getting into this limo with him. I'm like, what? I can't even what is going on here? He goes, oh, I'm taking them up to the they're gonna accept the award for me when I'm up in Las Vegas. I go, of course they are. Yes, of course they are. I mean, he's kind of like he reads the New York Times from front to back every morning before he does anything. Smart guy, And I remember seeing this interview with Warhol, who's another just genius like that. And Warhol had some opening in New York, and like the man on the street from Channel 9 was there, always like some dorky guy who thinks he's hip to the arts or whatever, And he was he's like, oh, so Mr. Warhol, what is this exhibition all about? What are you trying to express? Blah, blah, blah. And Warhol's just like, flanking him on either side. We're like, this is Eddie's blah, blah, blah. And Eddie didn't speak at all. And the guy didn't know what to do with these people. And that's what this guy's like. Expect the unexpected. And I enjoyed working there for years. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
And,
Thanks for sharing.
He bought this house. I spent there from 1918, 1917, 2017, 2018 through 1917 through like another 4 years in the house across the street where Greta Garbo had lived and bought. And I did the same thing. I helped renovate that whole house. And it was just this great creative process. Yeah. I mean, if you got to work,
good stories.
Nice to have
I know, but
yeah.
Good stories, at least, if you got to work, right?
Oh, yeah, it was great. I enjoyed being around him. I learned a lot from that guy. The one thing I learned about that guy that I'll always carry with me was like, because if you're going to be an inventor and you're going to deal with things like quality control as a product and things like that, 0% chance of failure has to be. So and I'm a sloppy writer, rocker guy. Like I was talking earlier, it'd be good for me to have an editor. The same way it's good to have a producer when you're in music, because they can make you better. But his thing with me was like, he told me one day, and I was kind of offended when he first told me, but then I thought about it. I go, yeah, he's right. He told me, Al, if I give you any advice, I'd say you're an 80%er. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, you got great ideas. You execute them really well. But if you just go the extra yard, you really could be something. And I kind of walked away hanging my head like, thanks, Dave. But, half hour later, I was like, he's fucking right. He's fucking right. And that was the best lesson I learned from that guy. And it's cool because it didn't come from a musician, didn't come from a writer, didn't come from a painter or anything. It came from a guy that was inventing lighting. Yeah.
It's really cool. That's really cool. You probably have a good life story in there too. Maybe a biography for you might be a good story at some point.
Yeah, dude. Look, some of them I can tell, some of them I can't. You know what I mean?
You may have enough to
yeah. There's a lot of good ones I can't tell, but I did. I guess I always had somebody wanted me for a video shoot from some hip hop guy about 6 months ago. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Pay me some money, I'll do it. And it was like a funeral scene, and I think it's for this guy Lefty Gunplay. You know who that is? He's like the wildest looking hip hop guy you have ever seen in your life. Lefty Gunplay. Let's look him up. So it's an incredible looking cat and everything, and he's doing this video, and I went down there, and I was going to be this guy at a funeral, and the beginning of the funeral, they said, "Listen, we want you to be like a main featured guy here." I go, what do you want me to do? They go over there and talk to these people that are walking into the funeral, like you're greeting them and stuff. And he goes, tell them a story. I engage them in conversation. So I said, okay. And you can hear me speaking. There's all these hip hop guys around. And I go, well, oh, so I'm vamping, it's not going to be heard, but I'm just vamping to get people laughing and stuff. I go, well, I guess I could tell you about my friend, blah, 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 which I'm not going to say, who held up who was a cocaine dealer, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying he was mine, blah, blah, blah. And in New York, who one time robbed a bodega for a Snickers bar. And I was like, that's just the stupidest, greatest thing I've heard. And this is a bad guy. This guy, I'm not going to say, like, which way he went in life. He's a bad guy. But like when I heard that, I was at a bar when I made a call to get him, because this is even before beepers. And they're like, his girlfriend walked in and he goes, he just got popped, I go, for what? He goes, he held up a store for Snickers bar. I go, he's rich as shit. Why? She goes, he's fucking crazy, So anyways, I told that story at the hip hop bar. I got a million of those stories. Like I said, a lot of them I can't tell. And a lot of those ones are coming from Florida back in the day.
That's funny. Those are some good stories.
Yeah, man.
Man, it's great to see you, and I'll have to look at my schedule too about coming down and checking you out at the cellar.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to come down and just see you.
And
I appreciate just hanging out.
Yeah, and before it gets there, I'll come back on the show for 20 minutes and we'll have more stuff happening in the band we can talk about. But for now, everybody go to Al Mitchell on Facebook. That's where you can see Kathy Don't You Leave LA. Also on YouTube, you see Kathy Don't You Leave LA and Instagram. And yeah, that's all I really got to plug, man. Everything is kind of coming out a couple of months from now. But great to see you. Great to talk to you. Great to be back in New York. And looking forward to seeing you in August. All right, brother.
Video. All right, you take care.
Yeah.
We'll keep in touch.
Take care, bro.
Give me a message when you're ready, okay? Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.